Hi Tappers! Today I want to share with you some thoughts on a question that I usually get in single sessions behind closed doors and kind of a hushed tone because it feels like something that the person feels like they shouldn't be struggling with. That question is, what will be left of me after EFT? I'm afraid of losing my identity when I lose my issue. First of all, Tappers, if this is something that you relate to, take a deep breath and feel some peace. This is not uncommon, particularly in someone who has had chronic trauma or chronic distress. It's a survival technique. When there is something that you're going through that isn't leaving you, it's very common and appropriate for you to find a positive way to look at it. Becoming a survivor, becoming strong because this is something that you're dealing with all the time. It's a good thing for you to have a positive way to look at yourself and your circumstances, especially if your circumstance at the time is a bit grim. But then the question uncomfortably becomes, well, but if I get rid of this, am I also getting rid of this really good part of myself, which is the only positive identity I've had for a while now? And that can feel alarming and upsetting to set down. My own story on this is that I had a 17-year-long chronic illness. During this time, there was a lot of different definitions that I came up with that allowed me to feel like I was doing something brave by surviving this really painful, really toxic long-term experience that I had. My recovery was actually very, very quick, and I wasn't prepared for how to feel about myself when I became normal. I wondered if what had been special about me before was now gone, and I didn't have any skills in being normal. I hadn't been normal before. I got sick when I was 8 years old. All of a sudden, I felt very inept and very unrefined and incapable of being where I was. The way I learned to look at it, Tappers, and the advice that I give to people who come to me with this question now, is that take a look at how you're defining yourself in what you've experienced. What I learned personally was that I was defining myself through the experience rather than who I had become because of the experience. I can release the experience, but what I had gained remains to be who I am. I also allowed myself a lot of grace and understanding, or coming to an understanding after I spoke with a couple of trusted friends, that normal doesn't really exist. Everybody's on a different learning curve on something, and that me finding a way to be comfortable of asking questions and having an understanding and gaining an understanding of where my own comfort level was in whatever it was I was engaging in was perfectly fine and healthy for me to learn to do. Coming up to something new is always a little bit surprising and can feel a little bit uneasy or anxious, even if you're also very, very excited and it's something that you've wanted for a very long time. It's okay to allow yourself all of those feelings. Tap on them if you want to. But let me tell you this, Tappers. If you have found a way to become stalwart and strong and brave and a beautiful human because of something terrible that you've survived and experienced, that part, it never taps away. You get to keep all of that good. I hope this explanation helps, and I'll see you soon.